Okay, right, let's start as always with A. This is a completing the square question, and it's nothing fundamentally difficult about this really. You just got to go methodically step by step, and it should be okay. There's a little bit of arithmetic involved, it shouldn't really be a problem. So it wants you to take this here and put it into the form x plus p squared plus q, where p and q are rational numbers. Okay, nothing difficult about that. You can kind of ignore the where p and q are rational numbers. Of course they're going to be rational numbers. We only really deal with rational numbers. So the first thing that you want to do after you write it down, get yourself familiar with it. It's supposed to be x squared up there plus 5x plus 7 is the way I was taught it was you have to see what's here, this middle term here, and halve it. Once you do that, then you go new one x plus, so half of this is going to be 5 over 2, close the brackets and square it. And the next thing is, if you can just remember this, okay, so you halve what you have there, have it there, then what you want to do is take away your new one here squared, so 5 squared over 2 squared, and then obviously you leave that plus 7, that just carries down to here, you leave that alone. And then it's just really a simplifying test. I mean, can you simplify what you've got here to get a p and to get a q? Well, it's not that difficult really. You go x plus 5 over 2, that's 2.5, that's not a problem there, squared, minus 25 over 4 plus, and then to try and simplify this, we'll get the 7 over 4. How do you get 7 over 4? Well, it's going to be 7 times 4, which is 28 over 4. Maybe going over the border a little bit there, sorry if I've done that. And then next line, well, keep that x plus 2.5 squared there, and then you go minus 25 over 4 plus 28 over 4 will give you 3 over 4, which is plus 0.75. You can leave, I should make this clear, get a different colour. You can leave these as fractions, that's perfectly legitimate to do. You can leave that as 5 over 2 and you can leave this as 3 over 4. That's a perfectly valid way of doing it, or you can do it in the decimal way that I've shown you there. Okay, next question. Let's get rid of that. Right, next one, B, I. Here we go, so find the coordinates of the vertex of the curve. Well, this is pretty easy, you just need to memorize what vertex means. Vertex is just, if you have, say, let's do a set of coordinates here. I know it's not very neat, but it's just to show you what I'm talking about. Let's go for purple here. If you have any kind of curve that you're familiar with, that kind of shape, that parabola shape, the vertex is this point here, the lowest point there. If you have another one, let's have another one here. Let's say that is another curve. The vertex of that curve similarly will be this highest point here. It's just the point at which it changes direction. I meant to do that colour. It's just the point at which it changes direction there. So the vertex in this case, you worked out that P was what, 2.5? 2.5 for P, and Q was 3 quarters there. I know I've done one in a decimal and one not as a decimal, as a fraction, but it doesn't really matter. Right. There's a little trick to remembering this, and it's probably easier if you just learn the trick than try and go into the how and why and whatnot. So you want to say that you've got this 2.5 here, and x behaves as you would not expect. That's a plus 2.5 there, right? Let's go here, plus 2.5. Now, x behaves as you would not expect. So your vertex, the x coordinate of it, is going to be minus 2.5 there. That's your p there, it's gone to your 2.5. Hope I'm making this clear. And then your x coordinate there, x plus 2.5, becomes your x coordinate of minus 2.5. And your y coordinate is the q there. It's going green, I think. There we go. So your q coordinate, y coordinate, sorry, q, is 3/4, 0.75. That behaves as you would expect. So your y coordinate is going to be 0.75. Hope you follow that. So easy as you like, your coordinates are minus 2.5, comma 0.75. That's the vertex. That's the point at which it changes direction. So next question. Now, this is the easy one of the bunch. The one marker, the one that you look forward to in a way, is, hang on, here we go. State the equation of the line of symmetry of the curve. So we can kind of guess a little bit as to what this curve might look like already, because we've got the vertex, we've got the positive x squared there, which means it's a U shape rather than an N shape. So if we do a rough sketch of coordinates here and say that, well, we're going to go minus 2.5 is there, say 3/4 is there. So here we're going to have, that's where your change of direction is going to be, and it's going to be a U shape, something like this, right? So your line of symmetry, you should be able to guess already, is just going to be the dotted line that I'm going to draw down here. And of course, you know, you've got this x-axis here, y-axis here. This line is just where x doesn't change, only y changes. So it's x is equal to, point here is minus 2.5 there, that's this point here. X is equal to minus 2.5. That's the answer. That's as difficult as that one gets, really. So, right, next one. Get some space again. There we are. Right. Do what we've just done. Sketch a curve stating the value of the intercept on the y-axis. So, let's go a bit more this way, I think. There we are. So we've got here this minus 2.5. Minus 2.5. And up here, somewhere up here, is going to be our y-intercept. Let's do a rough sketch there. So roughly like that. Now this is actually really easy. They pretty much tell you what this is actually. If you look here at the original equation, this plus 7 here at the beginning, that is your y-intercept. It's nothing more difficult than that. It's just whatever it was at the beginning, it didn't have an x next to it, it's just 0.7. That's your y-intercept there. And that's all it is for the marks, I think. Yes, good. Right, flying through these. Next one is describe the geometrical transformation. Lovely, I like these ones. 3 marks, 3 could not be easier marks, okay? Your first mark is simply for saying that it is a translation. Translation. There we go. Right, now, we know it's a translation from y equals x squared because the x squared has not changed. It's not become a minus x squared. It's not become a 10x squared. It's stayed x squared. So that's how we know it's a translation. It hasn't flipped. It hasn't been stretched or squeezed or anything like that. So it's stayed as x squared. Then you want to know where it's gone from being, let me draw this out for you. From being a very standard x squared like this, where has it gone? Well, we know from our from our sketch before that it's gone to the left this way by 2.5, and it's gone up by 0.75. Let me write that down. So minus 2.5 and up by 0.75. So we can just use that as our translation. The translation is just at the top of it, it's in a big brackets. The top of it you write the way it's gone in the x direction, so minus 2.5 to the left, okay? And then up it's gone 0.75. 0.75. 0.75. There it is. So 1 mark for translation, 1 mark for minus 2.5, 1 mark for 0.75. You can do that in 30 seconds. It could not be easier. Right, that was it. I will see you on the next video.